Now in this video I'm going to show you that regardless of how long you've been in the this field, poultry farming field, you can make losses. Today we are redoing our chicken cages, the ones that we did like for the first time, or the first one that we did. Just when you look closely, you're going to see what I'm meaning. This chicken mesh, we changed them because the previous one, they were very weak. They could break, and of course eggs could pass through and fall down, which made us to like go into losses. And then another thing, they were so tiny in that the poop could not pass through well, which was putting our chickens at a risk of getting diseases. Now this is not a very pleasing journey, or a very pleasing video, because of course we are making losses and we are doing the double work. Now today we are changing the chicken mesh, we are changing the welded mesh into to something else, to another gauge. Of course we are still using the welded mesh, but we are using or shifting to a different gauge. Okay, and we are also changing the water pipes, and then we're also changing the nipples. Now the reasons as why we're changing all of these things, it's because we're having challenges. And of course we were first time when we were making these cages, that was our first time making them. And of course over the time that we've managed to construct better cages, good cages, and perfect cages. And of course, just like that, of course we couldn't stay with these ones. That's why we are making changes. Is it a very easy job? No. Now it could be easy, it would have been easy, but first of all, this is the work, and then we are incurring costs for a second time. And just like you're seeing my brother doing, he's removing the chicken mesh, and we're going to replace them with a stronger and better mesh. Okay, and then when it comes to chickens, of course, now for example, like this day and then the following day, it causes stress to the chickens, which means the production is going to be low, and if not careful they could even get sick. So how do we avoid that? Of course we have solutions, but of course for the stress this day, and then maybe, for example, if we are going to do this for like 2 days, 3 days, it all like that disturbs the chickens, the birds, and it leads to less or poor production. And of course nafefe nyini biba bituteekaaganya. So my advice to you who's willing or who's thinking of starting or constructing a chicken cage or chicken cages, of course this was our first one, but we've built others, and you're going to be seeing them in the video, not this video but in the coming videos. Now my advice to you, like from me to you, would be you should do inquiries, you should do consultation to avoid all this. You should go for consultation. You should use someone who has built them, someone who's having experience. Now for example, this one, we're using different these are nipples, water nipples. This is what we use, and this is like those are the things that we use, or they use to take water. And we found out that the water was leaking, and then some were not strong, so we had to replace them to get new ones. And this is one of the new nipples that we're going to replace after removing the old ones. I've taken long to do this video because I don't know, I was still in shock, because I thought we weren't going to go back and forth like improving and changing and all that, but yeah, things happened, and of course we had to. Now another thing, when you're doing this, remember you're not feeding them, these birds are not feeding. And then they are also not taking water, because if we're to change the nipples, it means we have to block the water from entering the pipe. And then the chickens, for the time that we're going to be spending working on this, they're not supposed to be taking water, because of course we don't want the water to come into the chicken coop. So those are all disadvantages of maybe doing the things for the first time. But of course, we're glad that we learned the hardest way, and of course, we cannot make the same mistakes, because our all the other cages are perfect and they are working really, really well. So for someone, like to someone there who's thinking of starting or building a chicken cage, most of you actually inbox me and you're like, you want a cage of 100 birds, you want a cage of 50 birds. If you're planning of doing this business, I think you should actually start with a free range chicken coop. Then when you grow to the extent of maybe having 2,000 or 1,500 or 3,000, you can shift to gauges, because at least by then you will be the birds will be in position to help you, like feed themselves. You will not be having the trouble of feeding them and all that. They will be feeding themselves, and then they can also help you, like in the construction, like financially in the construction of the chicken cages. Yeah, is it a wise idea to construct cages? Of course, yes. Especially if you're having a small space, or if your space is very, very tiny, chicken cages will come in for you and they will save you that burden. Now, this is what I was talking about. The before cage, like chicken mesh, they were really, really tiny, and they were so soft and weak. So they could break them, because these birds are heavy. So we decided to put this one that you've seen, and it really looks nice and strong, and it is okay, and even the eggs are not damaged and all that. I think I've answered someone who was asking me why we were undoing the chicken cages. Yeah, so and then that's how we correct the eggs. Bye.